Welcome, you guys. It's with an extremely heavy heart that I bring this video to you. A couple of days ago, I visited a channel who promotes my videos and shares them with people, and I've gotten a lot of views from this person. And I was peeking around their channel, and I found some things very disturbing. And two in particular, I found outrageously disturbing. And it hurt me so much in my heart that I came to this person and I told him my feelings about being aware of who your audience is. If you run a YouTube channel or any platform where it's public and you don't really know who's listening to your content. In the past, I've had very, again, I can't think of anything besides disturbing encounters with people who are suicidal, already tried suicide, failed attempts, were going to try it again, and totally losing their minds because of content that they've watched. And they all had a few things in common, and that was religious or spiritual ideology, and in the bad sense, like in a very bad mental way, like the bad things. Jesus is coming out of the clouds and going to only pick up a couple people, and everybody else has to stay here and burn and be tortured and go through hell on earth. These are young people who came to me, and they were convinced they were going to heaven with Jesus, but their loved ones and their parents, because they were of different religions, they were going to burn and be tortured, and they just couldn't stand the thought of it. So, when I came across two videos in particular, one video was talking about the vaccination, and if you take the vaccination, that you will turn into a monster, or the words that were used was an abomination. And the word abomination rang in my head and played over and over again. And then in another video, in the same context, speaking of the same thing, the vaccine, this person said, you can do what you want to do, you can take it if you want, but then says, but if you do, I think you're a coward, or used the word cowardice. And then I just heard coward. And it was like, abomination. You're horrible. You're an abomination unto God and everything that is good. And you're weak because, you won't fight back. It's like beat you down and then hit you in your pride and say that you're not strong enough to fulfill your task here. I just got so ate up, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, not only the children, the young people who can see this, but any person who has been brought up in religion, and that's who our audience is. Everybody who talks about spirituality and stuff, yeah, it's like you step out of organized religion, Christian stuff, and you begin to believe that, the stories in the Bible are allegory, which is good, but then you transition into this like weird, spiritual crazy land, and everybody thinks that that's the light. That's where you're supposed to be, and it's not. It's very dangerous and very harmful. So I've talked a lot here. I'm going to show and touch a few conspiracies that are very dangerous, why they're dangerous, and then also towards the end we'll figure out, why are we all doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we so prone to craziness and illusions and delusions right now? It all makes sense. But I'm just going to implore anyone who espouses these ideologies to take them off their channel, their playlist. Don't lead people to them. You're going to harm people. Now I'll be quiet for a second and let you watch this little clip, because this is how mental illness and believing and trusting someone that you're getting information from can be very disastrous.
Wanted bad, Mama. Everything in the sin.
Come to your closet and pray. Ask to be forgiven. Boys. After the blood come the boys, like sniffing dogs, grinning and slobbering and trying to find out where that smell comes from. They're all gonna laugh at you. Look, it's not too late. You can stay here with me.
I don't want to stay with you, Mama.
Sorry, Cassie. We're all sorry, Cassie.
Trust me, Carrie. You can trust me. Trust me, Carrie. You can trust me. Trust me, Carrie. You can trust me.
Answer the door. I'm not telling me you're sick. I'm telling that you can't.
Our words are very powerful. Very powerful. And as I said, they can be used to heal, or they can be used to harm, or sometimes kill, physically and spiritually. Let's look at a few very dangerous conspiracies. I don't like to name drop and try not to do it, but conspiracy. The reptilians, the lizard people. Reptilians, also called reptoids, lizard people, reptiloids, saurians, or draconians are supposed reptilian humanoids which play a prominent role in fantasy, science fiction, UFOlogy, and conspiracy theories. And the idea of reptilians was popularized by Mr. Ike. Yeah, bad news. Bad news. And everybody should be able to tell that, because dude makes millions off of this. So, that's one red flag. He's a conspiracy theorist who claims that shape-shifting reptilian aliens control the earth by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. This is absolutely a delusion, an illusion. This is black magic all of the way. Very much black magic. If you're sucked into this and you believe it, you've been bitten by a poisonous viper, and you're slowly dying from it. So get away from it. Get away from the nest. Exterminate your house and get rid of all the little baby snakes that are hanging out there, and you'll be okay. Definitely do not put this on your channel. People, like, I have heard, people just recently have come to me and asked me that came out of religion, and now they're in this, and they're like, are lizard people real? Is the lizard thing a real? Like, people are scared about this. Stop it. Stop it. You're going to cause people to freaking kill themselves or go insane. Stop it. No. No to the reptilians. Oh, these are pretty much the same exact theme. Those damn lizard people. Another conspiracy is that the world is run by government officials and celebrities who are Satan-worshipping, baby-eating, what's the chromium, whatever in the brain. I don't even know what it's like. Oh my God. Pedophiles. And again, these are these lizard people. This is not true, that this is not true, and it's fear-mongering, and again, gonna cause people to lose their shit because they're gonna believe it, and everybody loves babies, right? Everybody loves babies. All of this is such to get you in an emotional and mental state. It's emotional and mental hostage is what's happening. This is absolutely not true and very dangerous to espouse on your channels, or even to people in your close circle, or, well, not close circles. If they're close, they'll leave you. But don't be saying this stuff to people who you don't know their background. You could cause them to jump off of a bridge the next day because they just can't take the baby's getting eaten. So stop it. It's not true, and it's very dangerous to spread. Bill Gates. I don't know the man, so I can't even get into his mind or whatever. I know he's very rich, and I don't know, anything other than that. But I will go out on a limb and say that I'm 99.9%, because you really shouldn't hardly ever say 100%, but 99.99999, Bill Gates is not going to implant you with a microchip. He's not going to stick it in a vaccine. And none of that is the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is in your forehead. It's you believing this shit. Okay? Or in your right hand, which is used to take oaths. And that means that you stand up and you proclaim that it's the truth, i.e. putting this shit on your channel, and you may not really believe it wholly, but you got your hand up and you're with that group that's like, yeah, I'm in. So, yep, mark on the hand, mark in the forehead, not mark in a microchip in a vaccine. Wrong, and very dangerous. Very dangerous to tell people medical information, what they should and they should not do. So no. And then another one, it just keeps growing is what it does. It just keeps growing more eyeballs on it. So this injection, either they're saying that you'll just die, which that's like a lot of people have gotten it, and so either death from this thing, or claiming that it's gonna change your DNA, and then you will be subhuman, a creature, a beast, a demon. And this is why I made this video an abomination. An abomination unto the Lord and to nature herself, is what this person said on their channel. Broke my heart. I know that you're listening to this video too. I'm not saying your name, nor am I going to say your channel, because that will do no good at all. I just really hope that you hear my heart and you take down those videos. Take down those videos. And anyone else who has these kind of videos that are up, you need to take them down. You're hurting people whether you realize it or not. So, this is false. Getting vaccinations will not change your DNA and cause you to be a demon, a lizard person, have demon DNA, serpent DNA. 5G isn't going to cause it. All of this is untrue and extremely, extremely dangerous. Here's a very disturbing story, and I've put bright, shining white lights on the babies' faces. This just happened. The founder of a surfing school in Santa Barbara confessed to killing his 2 babies with a spearfishing gun in Mexico because he alleged that they were going to grow into demons or monsters. Although he knew what he did was wrong, he felt that he had no choice because, quote, it was the only course of action that would save the world, end quote. This is what I mean. Not only little kids listen to this stuff, grown adults who have religious ideologies, because all of these people were either are religious or they're ex-religious, in and out, whatever. And so dangerous. So dangerous. Can you guys be okay with going to sleep at night and knowing that a video that you put up, somebody somewhere out in the world possibly could have watched it, believed you, and went and killed his kids and his wife and then themselves or any in that order? Can you handle that? Can you handle the blood on your hands? Phew. Coleman claimed that he was, quote, receiving visions and signs, end quote, and that his wife had, quote, serpent DNA, and she had passed it on to his children, end quote. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that he was probably also in the mindset of the whole, if somebody's been vaccinated, then they, quote, shed these infectious whatever it is, and then that can cause you to be demonized, DNA demonized, and turn into a monster. No. All of these and much, much more are extremely detrimental, extremely harmful delusions for anyone to have and believe and think. But if you spread those to other people, you are a work of the evil one and are insidious. I'm going to say that. If people want to go around and say that other people that they don't even know, that are trying to protect, in a pure heart, trying to protect their family and their loved ones in their community by getting a vaccine, for somebody to come out and say that they're an abomination and they're just going to be a demon form, I suggest that maybe you're projecting and it is you that's going to be that, or possibly already is that in some form currently. An abomination, that is. What it comes down to, all of those things are your lower ego. That's your id ego, not your higher self, your lower self. Two different egos. Don't kill them, thou shalt not kill. Don't kill either of them, but don't let that one that's on the bottom rule the show, okay? That's what this is all about. It's lower egotism, self-grandeur, delusions of grandeur, pride, and arrogance. And below all of that, it's fear. You're afraid. You're talking about alien people and this and that and turn into demon. You're scared is what it is. The Bible says in Matthew or Mark that those of a pure heart, they'll pick up certain serpents and they will not be harmed by anything, any evil thing. The serpent will bite them, not going to affect them. So if everybody's so religiously tied into those scriptures, why do you think that your DNA is going to change? If you're pure at heart, no evil poison or evil thing shall harm you, right? You can't be changed because of that. I do believe that thoroughly. But the thing is people are afraid. They're scared. Fear lies at the very bottom of all of that. All of that pride, arrogance, self-importance. It's because you're afraid that you don't have things, that you don't know what you're doing, and you're deathly afraid of this outside force that's going to come and get you. So it's like a false bravado that you put up and be like, oh, I'm woke. I know this. Everything around me is just external and it means nothing. Everything's an illusion. We all just live in a simulation. Bad Elon impersonation. Okay, so all of that, the lower ego, fear, pride, arrogance, is leading you to a desensitization of all other people. You're desensitized to other people around you, other life that's trying to evolve and grow. You're killing people spiritually, absolutely, without a doubt. Every person that reads it, you're killing them spiritually. But my point is in this physical realm, it isn't just all an illusion. People do hurt. People do have pain, and people do horrific things to other people because of it, and they do horrific things to themselves because of it. And you shouldn't perpetuate it. You should have no part of that. They shall know you by your fruits. This is what you put out, then you are evil too. Your spirit, you're dealing with an evil spirit. And by living and dwelling in that lower realm and espousing your thoughts and your words and your actions, you're harming people, as I said, physically, mentally, and spiritually. You're killing them on all three fronts. Accidental overdoses and alcohol-related diseases and suicide all contribute to the decreasing life expectancy in the United States. All of these diseases of despair have risen dramatically over the past 10 years, and the most notable of these is suicide. And although suicide rates have increased sharply in all age groups, the trend is most notable in teens and young adults. The authors of a recent retrospective study found that suicide rates among individuals aged less than 18 years rose 287% between the years of 2009 and 2018, making teen suicide rate quadruple in 1 decade. Social media. Again, I reiterate, if what you say or what you do has any, even the minutest possibility of mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually harming someone, you must stop immediately. Repent means that, oh, I know this is wrong. I must take responsibility for that action that I did in the past. Clean it up, however that is, i.e. go back and tell people that I shouldn't have said this or I shouldn't have done this, and then remove information so no one else can see it. That's repenting. Stop. Don't do it anymore. And if you don't do that, just know that you can possibly have blood on your hands. Okay? Just know that. You don't know who's watching your content. And you don't know what people think or feel when they get at home alone. So, choice is up to you. Bloody hands, clean hands. And I'll take a moment right now to give the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline 1-800-273-8255 or 911 if you're in the United States. If you're not in the United States, whatever your emergency number is that you call for the ambulance, that's what you call. I'll also leave it in the description box below. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about why. Why is everyone so susceptible to these illusions, delusions, and why are some people during this time getting great enlightenment and growing spiritually? The reason is because it's all above. All of the energies that are above are pouring down into this earth. Neptune in Pisces is a transit that only occurs every 165 years. And it's a banner time for art, spirituality, and the emergence of secret information or hidden spiritual information. Now, these dates are approximate, but on February the 3rd, 2012, Neptune entered its own sign. It came home to Pisces, where it will stay in transit until the year 2025. I've done a video about a year or so ago before it got this crazy. I didn't know it was going to get this crazy, but there's a link popping up in the right-hand corner right now so that you can remember where this is and watch that previous video if you wish. It's titled The Flood of 2020, The Great Deluge. Delusions, because we're about 3/4 into this cycle of a flood. A flood. Neptune at home in Pisces. We are experiencing a flood, a mental, emotional, and spiritual flood. And also, all around the world, lots of flooding and lots of water-related disasters. Now, Neptune is associated with the seas, spirituality, fog, confusion, delusion, illusion, chemicals, drugs, physicians, lots of media, lots of eye candy, movies, visual media, the dissolution of boundaries, and various other amorphous and enigmatic qualities. Very, very mysterious is what I want to say. Mysterious is what I think Neptune. While there can be a spiritual renaissance, which there is, but on the good side and bad side, a time of enlightenment and illumination. Enlightenment, yes. I don't really like the word illumination. It's like, why don't you just say illumination? That means to light up. Ill would be like sickly. Ooh, you're sick. Sickly illuminated. Or ill, like not illuminated. I don't know. At any rate, a time of enlightenment and illumination can also be illusions, delusions, the deluge, the flood, sleight of hand, people being tricky. Yup. And the so-called false prophets. They're false because most of them have fallen into the lie and they believe it. There are a handful of people that know what they're saying is all bullshit and they're just making money off of it and selling merch. So, I digress though. And what we see may not always be what we get. Leaders may entice, seduce, and mesmerize, and people that you trust, i.e. people on the platforms is what I'm trying to get at. Content providers. But these times call for each of us to heed our own inner voice, for us to engage our soul's manifested destiny, and for us to be leaders in that way, in our own personal journey and evolution onward and upward. These times are very illusory. It demands that we're extremely awake, wide awake, aware, and extremely mindful. Neptune and Pisces, during the intensity of the time, some people may cling to old-time religious beliefs, which they definitely are, but others will be searching and seeking, which they are. It's the in-between that the pure lies and finally getting free. It's the in-between spot that everybody's having trouble with. They're stopping in the middle and going, yay, we're here. That's not it. You guys are in the shadow because it's lighter. You think that it's the light. It's not. It's the darkness of the light. There can be a greater interest in Eastern philosophies of dissolving the ego and seeking to be one with the source. Yes, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That is what we're supposed to be doing. Neptune is like a trickster and will appear one way, but quite possibly be something altogether different in reality rather than the image that's projected to the person. Neptune in Pisces may open many doors, and some of the doorways may seem to lead to heaven, while the other doorway seems to lead to hell, or the door that you think leads to heaven leads to hell. Switched, upside down, an illusion, mirror effect. It's our choice. We always have a choice and we always have free will. Which door that we wish to enter. Maya Shakti. Maya means illusion. Neptune and Pisces, everything's amplified, kicked up an extra few notches. Dreams, delusions, magic, mysticism, and madness, mental illness, all get ramped up. Yet it's impossible that we don't chase every manifestation of Neptune's power, but instead look at the root of it and see what it's growing from. That root, it may be best expressed by a Sanskrit phrase. Maya Shakti translates the power to create reality or illusion. And Maya actually refers to both reality and illusion. Therefore, it would be illusion of reality or the illusion appearing as reality or truth. This is why we're in the middle of a flood, and this is why people are having such a difficult time separating truth from fiction. None of us that are alive today was alive for Neptune's last run through Pisces, which was 1848 to 1862. But if we just look at a few things over that period of time and compare them with what's happening now, it can be very useful because history repeats itself. And if you just look back and see where other people made mistakes, then you can avert those mistakes. But it doesn't seem that people are doing that quite yet. During Neptune's last run through, spiritualism, the practice of contacting the spirits of the dead during seances, is officially dated by many to have begun in 1848. That's not a coincidence. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Exactly what's been happening since 2011, 12, and will continue to happen until 2026, approximately. So, the last time that Neptune went home and hung out in his own pad was 1848, and that's when all contacting the spirits and the seances, Madame Blavatsky, the Order of the Golden Dawn, like all of these different spiritualists, and some great, some taken up by all of the lower realm stuff, these spirits and this delusion. During the 1850s, church attendance in new, distinctly American forms of Christianity also rose dramatically, started to separate off into their own little pods of we're right and they're wrong, so the denominations became proliferated. History repeats itself. What else happened during that time period? Communism, civil rights. People decided to say no, like this isn't right. And then civil war broke out because other people said, we don't care what you want, we're better, and we're more important than you, and God loves us more. So, illusion, disillusion. The dream of a society of true justice and equality, just like what's happening today, especially this past year or two. The dream of society of true justice and equality swept the world last time Neptune went through Pisces, and it was during the 1850s that the abolitionist movement gained power in American politics. Also, in Europe, 1849 saw a wave of communist revolution hit, with millions of people fighting for the dream of a classless society. And then further east, China experienced one of the most intense civil wars ever fought, the Taiping Rebellion. And this conflict, which began in 1851, was a wide-scale revolution that advocated the abolition of private property, the creation of a classless society, and equal rights for women. So, again, history repeats itself, and if we know what's going on up in the stars and the constellations and which energies are going to be poured out, we should be able to deal with this much more efficiently. 1848, and spiritualism is on fire. Spiritualists often cite the beginning date of spiritualism, March 1848. And that was when two sisters, 15-year-old Marguerite, called Maggie Fox, and 11-and-a-half-year-old Catherine, called Kate Fox, reported contact with a spirit in their home in Hydesville, New York. They claimed that the spirit was that of a murdered peddler, and onlookers heard and saw the two Fox sisters converse with the peddler's spirit through rapping noises, inviting those lower energy, negative energy beings into their space. Not good. Some of the well-known people who believed in spiritualism was President Abraham Lincoln's wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, and she had become involved the same year that Samuel Clemens began using the pen name Mark Twain, because of her son William, or Willie Wallace, died of typhoid fever in February 1862. She was hoping to find comfort, which everyone is. That's what this is all about, and that's how you get sucked in, fearful and in pain. Hoping to find comfort, she began organizing seances at the White House to reach out to the dead son that she so loved, and her husband sometimes attended these events as well. And during that time period, William Mumler, who was a jewelry engraver, decided to become a full-time spirit photographer after he accidentally developed a picture of himself that appeared to feature the apparition of his dead cousin. Mumler went on to become a full-time spirit photographer, providing the public with images of various spirits alongside the living. And in fact, one of his most famous images he produced was a photo of Mary Todd Lincoln with the ghost of her husband standing behind her, which is on the screen now. I don't know if you can really see, if you take a screenshot of it and blow it up, stretch it out, you'll be able to see Lincoln's head, hairline, eyebrows, and bridge of his nose, his beard, shoulders, arms. You should be able to see, though, looking at the picture, his hands that are on her shoulder. I personally think that this is just a big farce, but an illusion that this photographer seen. He was deluded by his illusions in that first picture, but because of the flood going on and how people are receiving information, I believe that he went on, and then I think that he became a scam. It looks to me like those hands are, I mean, if we saw this in these days, we'd say, oh, that's definitely photoshopped. It's like a ghost figure behind, but the hands aren't ghostly. They're regular people hands. So at any rate, this is what was going on back then. People were believing crazy things, and people were taking advantage of them, and lots of money was to be had, and lots of mental illness became of it as well. I didn't put it in these clips, but ironically in 1850 was when the first sanitariums, the first hospitals for mental illness became, they sprouted up like over the next 20 or 30 years, like all over the world. It was like, ooh, there was a need for that because people were losing their mind because they were drowning in the flood. And before we finish, let's include this, because It doubles down on the flood allegory. Approximately every 2,200 years, 2,156, 2,200 years, a new age begins, or that's the time period of a great year. And approximately 498 AD to the year 2654, the spring equinox occurs in Pisces. So, we're technically in the age of Pisces still. So, not only are we experiencing our inner circle, our inner zodiac flood, Neptune and Pisces, but our great year, our whole, all of humanity is still in Pisces. We're still in the flood. We're not quite into Aquarius yet. And some people might say, oh no, we are, it happened when, but here's what I'm going to say. Even if we had just gotten into Aquarius, all of the old, everything from the past, all the illusions and delusions, they don't just stop as soon as it clicks over. They have to gradually disseminate and, get absorbed. So, okay, let me get back to this. We're actually still in the age of Pisces, or, haven't even passed the precipice into the energies of Aquarius. It should be pointed out, however, that an age's influence is strongly felt between 500 and 800 years before the exact juxtaposition of the signs in the constellation. Therefore, the coming of Christ into this world inaugurated the age of Pisces, and that's why we have the Jesus fish. As I said, we can really say that we're kind of like in the in-between phase. We're currently being influenced by the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius. And in fact, we're progressively leaving the age of Pisces and progressively entering into the age of Aquarius. We are therefore in a position, like I said, halfway in between. So things are even more clouded and foggy. The greatest challenge that we have to face is morals, our morality. Indeed, we are leaving a period that lasted 2,000 years approximately, during which our spiritual lives were dedicated by religious authorities and religious ideologies. So it is going to be difficult. When we enter fully into the age of Aquarius, it invites us to elevate our souls through love. Love is the key, you guys. Through love of our fellow man. What's the most important commandment? Quote, Jesus said, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor like yourself, because the Lord your God is you. So love your neighbor as if it is the same. Aquarius invites us to elevate our souls through the love of our fellow man and to take the scientific and technological means at hand to improve our comfort and our well-being. Solar energy, water power, wind energy, not all of these harmful chemicals that we're burning and pumping up into the environment. That's the age of Aquarius. Humanitarianism. Man shall fully achieve his role on the earth by asserting himself as the king of creation, taking control in a righteous manner, and attaining self-fulfillment, and most importantly, self-control over that lower guy, over that lower manas, or the lower ego, or your id ego, or your lower man. These two values, self-love and love of others, love yourself, and love each other, all life, unconditionally. These two values are not irreconcilable. Actually, we're encouraged to enjoy a just part of the benefits and joys in life in tune with ourselves and others. And a fair balance is to be reached between one's aspirations and needs to those of others. In the centuries to come, such fair and balance should easily lead us down the paths to fulfillment, happiness, peace, if these words and these instructions are followed. We're not in the age of Aquarius right now. This isn't the final generation, and hey, no, we have a long way to go. Where Blavatsky and other people say that out of the 7 rounds, or the 7 generations, if you want to call them, we're in the 5th. We're in the 5th or 6th round of the 5th root race. And the 5th is manas. It's the mind. This is why we're having such difficulty. We're trying to sort out fiction from reality. And yeah, I don't even know where else to go. We're in a huge flood. And you're gonna drown, and you won't be able to get into your ark. Like, you didn't even build it. You didn't build the ark. I don't know. I'm just like fading out here. I'm so upset, and I don't want to put negative vibes out. But God, Lord, of light, law, and love, please let people take off videos that are going to harm people. Please delete those videos. And if your channel is all about it, start over. There's a lot of things that you can do. Delete those videos, put out a video and say, this is what I learned. I don't want to hurt anybody, so I'm going to concentrate on these other areas. There's so much content that you could be getting into. We don't need to go to crazy town and possibly kill people. I mean, I don't even see how that's like an option for anybody. But the lower mind gets in there, and it's like, oh, well, I put all this work into making these videos, and look how many views it has. And like, if I say this, this is what most of the people who watch me believe, so they'll all leave, and then I won't get any donations, and I won't get any views, and then nobody will think that I'm important, or I won't be valued. Just like all kinds of lower stuff. Who cares? Who cares? When you find out you've done something wrong or it could hurt someone, you stop, take responsibility for what you've already done. You try to clean that up as best that you can, and you don't do it anymore. That's it. That's it. So in closing, I say, believe whatever you want to. Research and look into whatever you wish. That's how you're going to find your way out, is by seeking. But don't harm other people in your self-attainment, self-enlightenment process. If it's going to possibly harm anyone else, don't do it. You can believe what you want, but don't spread it. Love is the universal key that will one day, because it's not time yet. We have a long, many ages to go. One day will free all of humanity. The day is not here yet, but our job is to try to usher it in while we have the opportunity in this incarnation, so that the seeds are planted for the next incarnation, and it's stronger within our next root race. That's it, you guys. Oof, it was a lot. I honestly love each and every one of you, even if you, especially if you're producing content like this, because you yourself are in darkness. So much so that, and so afraid that you've decided that you have to publicize it. I love you all very much. Please do the righteous thing and delete any kind of those videos that you have leading people down rabbit holes. All of it is just external to help you or to help you, to keep you away from helping yourself and going within and fixing your emotions and your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions and your words. All of that stuff is external. That is all fake stuff. But the people and the life that is here, it's real. Don't go around calling people NPCs, non-playable characters, and that's very, very dangerous as well. Don't you dare say that I'm righteous and I'm good, and like the guy across the street, I can tell that he doesn't even have a soul. He's a non-playable character. Very dangerous. Very dangerous, making divisions. A house divided against itself will not stand. It will fall. Okay, that's it. Pretty sure that I'm gonna lose subscribers, gonna lose views. This has happened many times before. Lost them when I put up the stuff about wearing a mask. Lost a slew of Christian people when I came out and said, no, you shouldn't be worshiping some guy that lived 2,000 years ago. It's all about inner reflection in your inner self. Lost a bunch of people when I said no sex, and they just wanted like, hey, can't we just like do all this Christos stuff and the spiritual stuff and whatever, and I'll give up drugs and alcohol and meat, but sex, no. So when I finally came out and said, no, you can't. Like, if you want to continue going and elevating, you can't. So I lost a bunch of people there. Lost a bunch of people when I told them that the racist monuments and statues should all be pulled down. We shouldn't have any of those. We none of them, good nor bad. We shouldn't have statues all up around the place. So lost a bunch of people there. And yeah, like I started out saying in this video, I made this video because I stumbled across videos of someone who likes my videos and watches them and shares them with others, which I do want. I do want my content to be shared so others can be at peace. But by me making this video, I've put into jeopardy that advantage. And like I said, I've done this several times before. You want to say shoot yourself in the foot? I don't consider it that way. But many times I've come to people who were helpful to me, and when they were doing something wrong or hurtful to others, I loudly proclaimed it to them, and they didn't change. They were like, yeah, well, and gave excuses, and the content stayed up, channels stayed up, and in private, they would say one thing to me, and then on their channel, they were like, I'll say that the person was pretending to still be in Christianity and believe in man Jesus and all of that, but speaking to me on the phone in private, she didn't, and she believed it was all allegory. Oh, I didn't mean to say she. They believed it was all allegory, but then had a YouTube channel that was completely Christian and supposedly helping homeless people in the area. Ooh, and all of the videos were about helping the poor and charity and this and that, and had donations pouring in. And I personally knew that she hadn't been giving charity to the homeless because I was helping her. And when I pointed it, I didn't mean to say her again, but okay, sure. I pointed it out to her, and we got into a huge disagreement and haven't talked to her since. But guess what? That channel's still up years later, and no doubt still perpetrating that fraud. So, like, I have many situations where I've run into doing this, and it's adversely affected me, and I'm sure that this one will adversely affect me as well. But that's how you know that you're doing something that's right. If you find something that really eats at your soul and you have to proclaim it, knowing that it's going to cause you to lack, or a lack to be produced because of it, it's a sacrifice. So I say that you do that. I don't care who leaves my channel. It's almost like a self-weeding garden now. Like every few months, about every 6 months or so, I'll come out and say something, and exactly what I believe to be true, and people just mass exodus and leave on their own. the tares get up and walk out. So that's how it's rolling. That's all I'm going to say. I love you all, each and every one of you, and I hope that you begin to see the light that's within shining brightly. Love yourselves and love each other unconditionally.
I want to trade a few things.
Just when you think you're safe, you're not. That's how they always get ya.